I need y'all to fix that, my G. Do you think that can ever be fixed?
The diplomat thing to me is like...
Cameron reveals if there will be another Dipset reunion. Will they ever make up? Let's talk about it. This is Fresh Hiphop Opinion with your guy Oleezeh. Don't forget to subscribe. So, Dipset, the legendary New York group, Juelz Santana, Jim Jones, Freaky Zeke, and of course Cam. Yeah, there were other guys in the group as well, Hell Rel, J.R. Wright, all those guys, talented artists. They did their thing. But the main core ones is what we're talking about. And Cameron was on the Rock Solid podcast with Memphis Bleek, the former Rockefeller artist. And Bleek was asking, can they mend this situation? And this is what Cam had to say. Check out the clip.
I need y'all to fix that, my G. Do you think that can ever be fixed?
The diplomat thing to me is like, it's no matter what. At one particular time, nobody was bigger than the group. Look, I always wish Jim the best. I hope he does well. He came a long way. I'm talking about just from not being my man. You gotta realize this is my man who couldn't rap. It turned into my hype man. It turned into an artist directing videos, so his hustle is impeccable. We put out our first mixtape probably 2001. The album came out in 2003. So you sit there and say, okay, 2001 to let's say we broke up 2007. Even if you give it 2008, that's a 6-7 year run. Our first reunion, I'm talking about after we broke up, got back together, was in 2010. If we can't get it together now, it's been 2010 to 2025. So the reunions and arguments and fighting's been 15 years. The run was only 7 years. We got 15 years of disputes longer than the run. The run was 7 years.
Yeah, fam. And let's shout out Memphis Bleek. Very good interviewer. I watched the whole interview. I didn't see him look at any notes, look at his phone, and the conversation was just flowing like easy. So big up to him. His interviewing skills is actually better than his rapping. But Cam had a few interesting things to say. Things like he fought really hard to get Jim Jones and Juelz their deal with Rockefeller and then Def Jam, and it was all good. He even bigged up Jimmy Jones, saying his hustle was impeccable. He had to tip his hat to him, as Jim came from just being his man, to his hype man, to directing videos, to actually being a legit, full-on artist. And in terms of music, Jim Jones is the one always saying Dipset right now. Juelz is very quiet. Cam doesn't really do music anymore the last few years. It's all been about Jim Jones. So his hustle is definitely impeccable. Cam even went into the recent issues that he had with Jim Jones, saying it all stemmed from when 50 Cent was on talk with Flea, with Cam, and was explaining how he got Juelz Santana and Jim Jones on the stage with him in 2007, even though Cam and 50 were going through their little beef. Cam believes Jimmy didn't like the way 50 actually answered it, and that's what made Jim go off on all these interviews. And Cam even says he believes Jim Jones is still upset about what was said to this day. For anyone that missed that, 50 was pretty much mocking Jimmy with how easy it was to get him to betray Cameron. Because a lot of people at the time did look at that as real disloyalty from Juelz and Jim Jones. Like, how are you getting on stage with 50 Cent when Cameron and 50 are literally in the middle of a rap battle? Never kind of really seen that so much in hip-hop, but we saw it with the Dipset. But at the end of the day, Cam did give Jim Jones his props. That's the main thing. But in terms of an actual Dipset reunion, you heard it. Cam explained. The first mixtape was in 2001. The first album was 2003. They had a run all the way to maybe 2007 or 8. And with Cam's arithmetic, he said that's about a 7 or 8 year run. But then from the reunions to the beefing, all those ups and downs, they've been from 2010 to 2025. That's 15 years of beefing. So he was basically saying how the disputes is longer than they were actually together. I mean, it's a comical way of putting it, and I can see what Cam is trying to say. But obviously, these guys have known each other way before 2001. So it's more than just a career. These guys knew each other from before the music. I don't believe the issue between Juelz and Cam is as serious as the Jimmy and Cam issue. I just think these two just don't get along very well anymore, which is natural. With human beings, you grow apart. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd just be very surprised if I saw them two doing anything together anytime soon. But of course, we all want the Dipset coming back together. Another thing I found quite interesting in the Bleak interview, Cam referenced Jay-Z quite a few times in the interview, and in glowing light, always speaking about his business acumen, how Jay-Z isn't still wearing a Rockefeller hat to this day. He's moved on. He's talking about big $400 million deals, and Cam was kind of saying that, yeah, that's what he's trying to do as well. I just wonder how these glowing lights of Jay-Z will sit with Dame Dash. Obviously, we know Dame and Jay-Z are not the best of buddies right now, and Dame and Cam aren't really on the same page either, obviously not on that type of deeper level of dislike. But Dame has said recently, Cam is sitting down with people that he has issues with, because Dame has issues with Bleak, but Cam is sitting with him. But now Cam is saying glowing things about Jay-Z, which, to be fair, he has said certain things about Jay-Z that are nice in the past. I can just imagine that Dame will take a mental note of this and maybe even speak about it in the future again. But with all this bad blood between friends, there is hope, people. Let's not forget, Cameron and Mace didn't speak for years, probably over a decade, and now they're best of friends. So I wouldn't say it's impossible that Dipset, Jim Jones, even Dame Dash could squash their issues and there can be some sort of reunion. Cam himself said with the interview with Bleak that he would never say never, but at the same time you definitely got the feeling that it was very unlikely. But hey, that's just my opinion. I want to know yours. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And for just a few dollars a month, you can support the channel, join the membership, exclusive content just for you. This is Fresh Hiphop Opinion. Peace and love.
I need y'all to fix that, my G. Do you think that can ever be fixed?
The diplomat thing to me is like, it's no matter what. At one particular time, nobody was bigger than the group. Look, I always wish Jim the best. I hope he does well. He came a long way. I'm talking about just from not being my man. You gotta realize this is my man who couldn't rap. It turned into my hype man. It turned into an artist directing videos, so his hustle is impeccable. We put out our first mixtape probably 2001. The album came out in 2003. So you sit there and say, okay, 2001 to, let's say we broke up 2007. Even if you give it 2008, that's a 6-7 year run. Our first reunion, I'm talking about after we broke up, got back together, was in 2010. If we can't get it together now, it's been 2010 to 2025. So the reunions and arguments and fighting's been 15 years. The run was only 7 years. We got 15 years of disputes longer than the run. The run was 7 years.